and welcome to Who Corner to Corner podcast. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined as always by my good friend Paul.
Hello there.
How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm all right tonight. Actually, I'm in a very buoyant mood. Yes, I'm fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the 8th take we've done of this intro because he keeps interrupting me. So, Paul, we're not on our own tonight, are we?
We're not alone. We have guestage.
We're not.
Yes,
we do. We're joined by a name that will be very recognisable to Big Finish listeners and fans. It's Miss Lauren Cornelius. Hello, Lauren.
I was just waiting in the room, being really silent. I always find that so awkward on a podcast. Where I'm just waiting. Yeah. I know that the introduction is happening, so I'm just going to sit quietly and pretend I'm not here until you say my name.
Yeah, we don't worry about things like that. Yeah, we talk over everybody, and everybody talks over us. So we're hardly professional.
I mean, I wanted to laugh, but I refrained. I was silent. It was literally like I was just waiting. I couldn't. But hello.
Hello. Yes, that's because
Hello,
you are a
good
professional. You see.
You are professional. Yeah.
She tries.
So, Lauren, how's your day been?
Do you know what? It's been really good. It's been nice.
Good.
I went to a restaurant this morning for breakfast, and it was just banging. I've not been there since before COVID, so I've forgotten how good it was. Have either of you been to Dishoom?
No.
Loads of times.
Have you?
I haven't. No.
You haven't.
Is it nice?
I'd highly recommend. So to any listeners, I mean, I don't actually work for them. I just went there this morning. So yeah, I had a really nice breakfast naan. So it's like
breakfast
an
naan,
but they're breakfast naans. It doesn't sound like you would, maybe want a naan for breakfast, but actually, it was 10 out of 10. Spectacular.
I'd have that.
That's the highlight. That's been the highlight of my day today, and I've currently got a little light sparkling lychee drink. So
nice.
And I'm talking to you two, so it's just
yay!
So
your day's gone downhill, really, hasn't it?
Yeah. So what you're saying is it started out well. And
started out brilliantly. Yeah.
So, Lauren, for anyone who doesn't know, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are and what you do?
Oh God! Always awkward. But hello,
no pressure.
Good to have you with us, everyone who is listening. My name's Lauren Cornelius. I'm an actress. I'm from London, and I play series regular role as Dodo Chaplet in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
For Big Finish, which is very exciting. Was very thrilled when I got to do that. But before I came on board as Dodo, I'd appeared in a few other adventures with a couple of other doctors, which has been really fun. And yeah, I'm primarily a radio actor. I do lots for BBC radio dramas and for Big Finish, and a bit of voice acting here and there for little projects. But yeah, so I'm just, your run-of-the-mill Camden girl who's going on adventures in the TARDIS every so often now, which is great.
Brilliant, love it. So yeah, like you just said, you've been working with Big Finish for a while now, and we've got some questions about all of that and the other doctors. So how did your first session with them come about, and which drama was it? What was your first one you did?
Oh my God, I actually can't remember what the first one was. I've done so many fun ones now, and
was it a Tom Baker one?
It may well have been. You probably have a better idea. But
Jeff's got a talent of putting people on the spot like that. What was the first thing you ever did? What was it? Remember now. We need to know.
Yeah,
tell me.
Should have done my research on my own work. But yeah, no, I started out doing radio drama after drama school. I kind of got introduced to the radio world when I was at drama school. I had two amazing tutors when I was there, Tracy and Carl. Shout out. But Tracy does loads of Big Finish stuff, and I think she might have given them a nudge and said, check out this girl. And because I was on the BBC radio rep, I did the Carlton Hobbs Award when I was at drama school. Didn't win, so I like to see myself as like a One Direction. So didn't win, but actually went on and had quite a successful career. So I did that, and I think maybe it was that though. However, because I didn't actually reach out to them, I sort of had heard of the work, listened to a few episodes, and thought, oh my God, this is really cool. I'd love to do something with them. And then before I even had the chance to like write to them as us jobbing actors do when we sort of see a company that we think, oh, they're good, I'd like to go and do something with them. They actually contacted me and offered me a part. So I was like, this never happens. This is amazing. Great.
Yeah, that's every actor's dream, isn't it?
Yeah, the hard work was done for me. So I was like, awesome, because I know, we all, I don't know what your guys' background is, but yeah, as a jobbing actor, it's a hustle out here, you know. So I went on, did my first job with them. It was amazing, and then I kept getting invited back to do other bits and bobs. I think it was only a small part in the first few that I did, and then the part that or a couple of parts I've massively enjoyed playing, but one of which was Ivy Clark in The Creeping Death. That was kind of my main role.
Yes.
That was the one that I really connected with, and that was most memorable for me because David Tennant was my favourite Doctor. Just saying.
You put a stake in the ground right there.
But in terms of like me as a fan, and then just, you know, my age and my generation, that's the when I was watching it on TV, Tennant was just my number one. So when I got to play that part alongside him and Catherine Tate, my goodness, that was incredible. So so I that part will always be really special to me. And also, I don't know if you've seen it, but the artwork, I did art at A-level, GCSE. You would always, if I wasn't in the theatre, I was in the art rooms. So I just have always been obsessed with art and artwork, and just the colour scheme for that. And they did like a really cool limited edition neon green vinyl, which the guys at Big Finish sent me, which I'm so grateful for. So it's up on display. Big
Finish have great art, don't they? Actually,
they do.
The last few years, their cover stuff has been absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that's a good point. The stuff they've been doing is just bang on every time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, you've sort of answered this question, but were you a Doctor Who fan before you were cast at Big Finish, and do you watch the show to this day?
Yeah, do you know what? To be completely honest, there are people who know way more about Doctor Who than I do, but I came on board as a fan. Since joining this amazing, wonderful community, my Doctor Who education, I'm loving. Anytime that I get to go to conventions or, you know, anything like that, I'm like, talk to me, tell me what you know about my character. I'm like a sponge. I'm absorbing everything.
Soaking it all up. You're bringing in all this history and everything. Yeah, and just the stories and people, like what Doctor Who means to them and being part of this community. I love it. I live and breathe it now. But I was a fan. I wasn't a hardcore, diehard fan, knowing all the stories and all the episodes. But I had seen episodes on TV. I loved when David Tennant, his work was just incredible. My dad was a massive fan of the original series back in the 60s. He was a big William Hartnell fan. So this is... to get to play Dodo and go on adventures with the first Doctor is awesome. But, you know, I'm just... Yeah, he's living his best life that I get to do this. So... it's something that's always been a staple within our household, and that I've always been I've always really enjoyed the world, but I've always been a bit of a weird kid that likes all things a bit supernatural and spooky. So my favourite Doctor Who episodes are always the ones that are a bit creepy and are a bit dark, and I mean everything's quite sinister, but those are the ones that are nightmare worthy were my favourite kind of Doctor Who stories. Like, I love a ghost story. Even now I'm so excited that summer's over and we're coming into Halloween season, so I'm a proper one for all the spooky, scary stories. So you like the dark evenings kind of drawing in, and the sort of
I love it. I'm looking out into my Oh my goodness, that's me all over.
Brilliant.
Lauren, we did a podcast the other week, didn't we, Paul? We talked about Doctor Who books, and so we both talked about some of our favourites, and pretty much every book that I was talking about, I said, this one's quite spooky, it's a little bit creepy, and pretty much every single one of them. And I was like,
it was like a common theme with you, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah,
it was like, everything you like. I like that one.
There's ghosts in it, and there's spooky vampires and everything.
It's got a big pumpkin on the front. That was one of the reasons I bought Planet of the Witches for Big Finish. I thought, yeah, that sounds good. It's got witches in it.
Witches, exactly. Witch. Oh my goodness. Or anything, witches. Actually, that was one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. Is we're not allowed. I'm not in a theatre, so I can say it.
The M word.
But I even get every actor's a bit superstitious about saying that.
Did that freak you out, even saying it just there? Because you look kind of nervous.
Even though I'm not in the theatre, I was a bit like, can I say it? I don't want to get cursed or haunted or whatever.
Do you know what? That makes a lot of sense, because yesterday I was filming with a company, I'm going to give them a plug as well, it was Guildford Shakespeare Company, and we were getting ready to do a trailer for Jekyll and Hyde, so sometimes they do non-Shakespeare stuff. And they were chatting, and they said, the first thing Jeff filmed for us was a trailer for the Scottish play, and I knew what they meant. I was like,
the Scottish play.
Calling it the Scottish play, and it's not the first time I've heard them refer to that, but now I realise because of the superstition on it, so that makes sense. Because I just kind of looked a bit blankly at them and went, yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, actors. Yes.
Absolutely. No, in a theatre, it's you can't say it. You just don't. Yeah. It's just common knowledge. You just don't say it. But when you're not in a theatre, you can say it, so it's fine. So we're not in a theatre. So we're safe. And listeners, you're all safe. You're all safe. But when I got to play a witch in Macbeth, highlight of my life. Really? Like, I was living the dream. We got to do at drama school, I think it's the way that they do it, so everyone gets a go at playing certain characters. I got cast as Lady Macbeth for half of it, and witch number 2, I think, for the second part.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was awesome. I mean, 2 of the most fun, any witch I'd have been happy with any of the witches. And getting to do that and do a good Lady M was just a real highlight for me. So because that's a nice spooky dark play.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
So getting to do something like The Creeping Death as well, where it's all a little bit spooky. Same with even the miniaturist, when I got to play Dodo in that episode. If you haven't listened to it, it's a little spooky one. It's just very eerie, very creepy. I don't know why my brain always goes down that route. I just love it. Kind of speaking really gets me hooked.
It's that shiver up the spine, isn't it? That you're being a little bit scared, and kind of hoping it's safe at the same time.
It's good, isn't it? I have listened to The Miniaturist, actually, and I'll tell you a little story behind it, right? So I took this on holiday with me. Well, I had it on my phone, and everyone had gone to bed, and I was listening to it on my headphones late at night, which is never a good time for me anyway, because I do tend to fall asleep. And I've been really busy all day, been at the beach, so literally just sitting on sand for like 12 hours. So I was absolutely knackered by the time we got back to the apartment. It really was, mate. Honestly, I was shattered. But I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm going to finish. I'm going to listen to this, and I started listening to The Miniaturist, and it's brilliant because, like you said, it gets really, really creepy. But I started fading away, right? And that thing when you're sort of half asleep, and so you're not quite awake and you're not quite asleep, you're sort of in that middle place. And with the headphones on and with the lights down, right, it was all kind of taking place around me, and it was really freaking me out, right? Because it's like the soundscape of it, right, is like you said, it's really, really sinister and really eerie, and there's all these like voices, Dodo, 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 and all this going on, and in my head they started taking form, and it was like this weird kind of half dream was coming on, and then I woke up and the whole thing was like finishing. I had like the Doctor Who music finish. I'm like, what have I just been through? I've no idea what the story was about. I'm gonna have to listen to it properly, but it's all freaked me out in my head. I was weirded out by the time I eventually went to bed. I'll tell you, it was weird. So I listened to it in my car instead the other day, so I know what it's about now.
In broad daylight.
Very different experience. I'm sure. It's always different when you listen or watch things in sort of 10 o'clock in the morning versus late at night when you're drifting off. Because I love that kind of time between your being awake and drifting off into dreamland. So anything that's kind of around you, and Big Finish have got this amazing ability to just transport you to a completely different world.
Oh, totally.
When you're listening, your eyes, if you're listening to it in the most
the relaxed setting. It's dark. It's you've got the big headphones on, noise cancelling ones, and you just get fully immersed into it. So yeah, you're kind of transitioning between dream world and still being in reality, and then that sparks your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
Even now,
that's when they work best, isn't it, in that kind of situation? And you know, when you're completely focused on, like Paul and I have talked, because we drive quite a bit for work, and that's when we listen to Big Finish stuff most often, just because, you know, kids aren't around, and you know, and then you know you're going along, and you know this is true, and I've been going along, you know, listening to it, thinking, oh, this is really good, really into it. I've missed my turning, and now I've got to take a detour to get back round. So, or you're then concentrating on the road, and you think, oh, I've just missed a huge chunk of plot in this, and you know, I've got to rewind it and stuff. So it's that balance of trying to find
there is that. Or you do the other thing. I don't know if you do this, Jeff, but say you're getting towards the end of an episode of a Big Finish or something, right? So you know you've got like 20 minutes to go, and it's getting really, really good, so you're kind of into it. And then like literally your house is just down the road. And I've done that, right, where for the last 20 minutes I've had to drive around town, or, you know, because I would park up somewhere, but then that's weird, right? Parking up somewhere, just listening to a Doctor Who story in audio, because I tend to have it on quite loud. So I just drive around town and just listen to the end of it. But then, of course, then it goes into the interviews afterwards, which are great. So then you end up driving around another 20 minutes, and then you get home and the wife's like, where have you been? Have you seen the time now? Look at this. You're supposed to be being back an hour ago. What's going on? I'll twit you. I'll have you. Get upstairs to bed, you bugger. She's not like that. Well, only on Tuesday, but it can be
she
like that.
Sounds really fun.
She's
I want
great.
to be friends with her.
She's great,
yeah.
Well, see, my tip for Big Finish stuff and driving, some of them are 45 minutes and some of them are about 25 minutes. So you pick an episode based on your drive length. Sorted.
Yeah, that's too much process, Jeff. You know, and requires intelligence. Neither of which I have at all. So, yeah, but it must have been good fun doing these. Was it? There you go with what's his name? Stephen Noonan, isn't it? He's who I've never heard of before, but he's an actorly type by the sound of things.
Oh my goodness, yes. He was part of the Royal Shakespeare Company, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then he took a little acting hiatus, did life, you know, as actors tend to do sometimes. And then this is his kind of, he's back. He's back in the acting world, playing one of the most iconic roles.
Yeah. That's a pretty good comeback, isn't it?
It's strong.
Yeah.
I like respect.
Yeah, he's done all right there,
strong comeback. So I was talking to him about that the other day, just about how he was saying that you never really, like, acting is a bit of a disease, you know, once you've got it, you can't get rid of
that's it. You're infected for life.
You're infected for life. Like it will never leave, because as soon as you go back and do something acting related, you're like, oh god, this is fun. Like this is why we do it. This is what it's about. So acting alongside Stephen, and he is just, I mean, he's just phenomenal. I when I got the part, I did a lot of, because she already existed, and Jackie Lane, God rest her soul, had already played her. So I did a lot of research in terms of looking at what she did, but it was really difficult because there's not too much out there.
There's not a lot of it, is there?
No,
I just want to say we had a question on Twitter from Thomas Hines, and he said, did you research the character and watch what you could of the existing adventures? And I was thinking about it, I thought, that must have been a bit of a challenge, because it's not that much. That was
great. Definitely, it was really tough. But in that, I was watching lots of William Hartnett. I was watching lots of the First Doctor, just because you get lost in the hole, don't you, of looking through things. And I was like, I'm just going to watch that. Oh, there's another good clip here. Oh, I'm just going to watch the whole of it. Oh, I'll watch the whole episode. So I was just watching those. And just the way in which Stephen is kind of embodying what the First Doctor was about, and his mannerisms and just everything. It's kind of, it's not an impersonation. It's so much more than that. He's taken his whole essence and all of his mannerisms, and it's just, when we're in the studio together, it's so fascinating watching him work. The first time that we did, he'd learnt the whole bloody script. I was like, what?
That's a pro, isn't it?
What? I've been doing radio for a while, and I was
and it's in front of you, isn't it? Right?
We don't have to.
That whole learning lines things. We don't need to do that nonsense.
No hair and makeup. You just rock up, and then
sweaters on, joggers.
Joggers, exactly. Oh my god, when I worked with Sheridan Smith, she was amazing. She came in like sunglasses on, massive can of Red Bull, brought a dog who was a puppy with her. It was great. Yeah, amazing. But so yeah, but just being in the studio, I digress. But being in the studio, that was fun. Didn't mean to name drop there, but I just thought of all the people that I remember working with, she just really stuck in my mind, because that is radio drama, how you could rock up. You could just turn up in your pajamas with your dog and your can of Red Bull and just your energy drink, not to promote any specific brand. But and away you go, because no one minds. But then Big Finish like to spring a surprise photo on you, and you're like, oh dear, oh no, quick, makeup, let's just got a hairbrush. Yeah. But going back to Stephen, he's really adopted the mannerisms. He learned all his massive chunky speeches. Every time we're in the studio, there's new edits every 5 minutes, because he's got a mannerism that he's put in there, a little thing, a little quirk that he's put in. He's changed the line to be a bit more, Hartnell-like.
Yeah,
exactly. Which is quite funny. I've got very used to it now, but initially he would do things that weren't in the script, and I would be like, and that would affect my cue, and then I would think, and then the
what's he done?
I was like, where are we going now? When do I come in? When do I come in? But I've kind of, the more that we've worked together and we've bonded as individuals and actors as well, I totally get it now, and it's kind of, we sort of really vibe off of each other, and brilliant. He doesn't need to tell me every mannerism that he's going to add on, every change now, because I'll feel it. I'll know when he's going to do it.
You've kind of tuned into it.
Yeah, we do still kind of go if there are any big changes that affect cues, but as much as Nick Briggs loves to do that, it's just so fun working with him and seeing him at work and seeing him kind of how he embodies. Because I don't know if people have ever done radio drama who are listening, so sorry if I'm like dumbing it down, but it's so much more than just your voice. It's like we really do kind of get into the physicality of the characters as well. Like when we're running, we might not physically be running with our feet, because that would knock the mic and make it sound awful. But we're properly like going for it from the top half of our body. Everything's sort of like really tense. And when we're in character, just watching the hand gestures, mannerisms, the way in which the bodies are kind of holding ourselves. And so watching Stephen do that is really, really amazing. It's really fun. And I wish that, I keep saying to the guys at Big Finish, we need to do some more behind the scenes stuff, so that capturing that, maybe just hide some cameras in there. I don't know.
Don't tell anyone.
I won't tell anyone.
We'd volunteer for that, wouldn't we, Jeff? We kind of sneak in there with our little cameras, I'll pretend to be cleaners or something, and we'd do that.
Probably there's a TV show idea in there, isn't there? It's like Big Brother, but like
Big Finish Confidential.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Right, we'll pitch it to Jason.
Do that.
It's just really cool watching him at work, because it would just be so awesome for the fans and for the listeners to see kind of the making. When I was younger, I always used to love the making of, like, music videos and what goes in behind the scenes of
films,
promos, like MTV behind the music video, making the making of, or whatever.
You'd get a half-hour show on MTV, wouldn't you, about making a music video or something?
Yeah.
Although the only downside is if we did do in studio behind the scenes stuff at Big Finish, you wouldn't be able to roll up in your joggers and sweats.
I don't know. I think I probably still would, Jeff. Not
good.
Sure.
Yes. I was thinking about that for a minute.
I might brush my hair. No. I would think long and hard. I'd wear a fun little. We'd make an effort. I'm sure.
Bit of an effort.
Just a slight one, only if we knew. But that's why I think it's better if people don't know. But I think that goes
yes, definitely. Yeah. Although there might be some sort of legal issues about secretly filming people and putting it out online or something.
Hide it in the contract, and then
they'll never know.
Late,
yeah, exactly. It's in the small print, darling.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just didn't read clause 17.
You didn't read it, and maybe a chance you might be filmed.
Yeah. So how far in advance do you guys, have you recorded stories? Is there kind of a load of stuff banked that's being worked on, ready to be released, or how much have you done so far?
Now I've got to be careful about what I say.
Thought I'd get something.
There has been potentially some things that have been recorded. I'm not gonna give any more details on that. There's more to be recorded.
There's more stuff
within the next couple of months, which is exciting. But I don't believe that anything will be out until next year. Anything new will be out.
It's quite a way in advance, then, isn't it?
It's some of it.
3, 4, 5 months or so.
Yeah, when did you record your first one, and when did it come out? What was the time frame on that?
I think it was a good few months. It was definitely maybe 6 months or so. But yeah, so there's definitely more adventures in the works, though.
Yes,
I have
that's brilliant.
Video recently, and I am going in again soon. I'm excited for these next adventures. Definitely,
Brilliant,
it's not
brilliant.
We've got some more adventures to be had yet.
So I've got a question from at the Metal Hoovian on Twitter. He listens to a lot of Big Finish. Do you follow him?
I love this. I love this question because this was in my head. So let's give it to the Metal Hoovian. Go on. I love this.
The Metal Hoovian.
The Metal Hoovian.
I love it. Does he like heavy metal music as well?
Yeah, I
think he does
so,
actually. Yeah.
And almost every day he posts a Big Finish review of something he's listened to. So he's well into it. So his question is, I was wondering if you were going to stick with Dodo's first accent or have a shift in accents like in the show. He understands if you're not permitted to answer, and he says he's looking forward to the next box set.
Oh, that's a really good question, and I very much am into my metal music as well. Rock on.
Yay.
But I can answer that one. We're sticking with her being Northern. She's
Brilliant.
from the North. She's
exactly.
fun.
Yeah.
She's unapologetic about it. And there's no one telling us that we have to go to BBC Radio 4 type of speaking. So, we're keeping her Northern.
Good. I'm really pleased to hear that.
Yeah, and I went to uni in Leeds,
Yeah.
and my grandfather, who's not here with us anymore, he was from Doncaster. So I've got a real affiliation to the north. I really loved my time up there. Would still be up there if if my whole life wasn't down here.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it, and I'm really happy that we're keeping her from where she was
Brilliant.
from and where she was
Brilliant.
from. So yes, that is the answer to your question on that one.
Yeah. It's good. Great. Because I mean it's awful in a way when you think about it. And I'm sure they would never impose. Someone's got to speak in a certain way nowadays. But I don't know if you know the story, Jeff. But Jackie Lane is a Mancunian. And she was, she came in and she was supposed to be a very sprightly teenager and, very lively and everything else. And she came in and the higher ups at the BBC said to her, no, we can't possibly have her talking like that. She must speak in received BBC language pronunciation. Right. And she had to literally change the way she spoke. But because she's Northern, sometimes the Northern comes through. So when you watch like that serial, The Ark, one minute she's Northern. Hey up, Doc, how you doing? Well, that's not quite as broad as that, but and then the next minute it's all very, very proper and within Whipsnade Zoo and all that sort of thing. And it's and she doesn't always keep it. But I love that about Jackie Lane because despite all that and despite the fact that she was just thrust in at the end of this really heavy going story, what was it, the massacre of St. Bartholomew or whatever it was, because it's not actually called the massacre. Sorry, my nerdiness is coming through now, but it was a really
soak it up, Lauren.
But here's the thing, right? So what I'm getting to is there's a lot of stuff in Dodo that we just don't know about, and that because she's had such a short space of time on TV, that for me would kind of leave it right open for Big Finish and you, Lauren, to explore the character and give us more, because there's a bit in there's some sneaky bits in The Miniaturist where we start to see little fragments of Dodo's background. I think there's the actual miniaturist alien herself. I'm not going to give anything away, but is it like Dodo's mum or possibly or something? There's an allusion to Dodo's background and someone else in her family, isn't there?
Yeah, she really like tugs on her and draws her in because Dodo's without parents, and so when she's got a little snippet of home and something that she remembers, it's kind of she's got this connection to Daddy. So yeah, it's we won't say anymore because
no, but do listen to it. I highly recommend it. That's the Doctor Who First Doctor Adventures box set, The Outlaws. So there's two stories. There's The Outlaws, which is a kind of rollicking historical episode in the fine tradition of like the Crusades and the Aztecs and all those wonderful things from the 60s. And then The Miniaturist, which to me is creepy AF. It's like the Edge of Destruction on steroids. I mean, it's my favourite of the two. I'm going to be honest. I love the other one, but The Miniaturist really elevates it. I love the atmosphere. I love the interplay between you and Stephen, and Paul Copley's in there as well from the Spare Parts, isn't he?
He is. He was brilliant. And Annette Badland.
Annette Badland as well. Yeah.
She's the baddie. I mean, she does it so well.
And again, Stephen Noonan's thing is where he does the First Doctor. It doesn't sound like the First Doctor, but it does sound like the First Doctor, isn't it? And the relationship between you two guys, it just sparkles. It really does.
Oh, thank you. That was the first one that we recorded together.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Really?
Doctor and Dodo, yeah.
You're kidding.
And that was a really kind of, because there's so much going on in it, and because the tone is really drastically different to The Outlaws. Yeah. I actually thought we were going to do The Outlaws first, just because that's a bit more fast paced. It's lots of characters. It's really, really nips along. I thought that would be the one that we would record first to kind of get in the vibe, feel the flow, sort of come, get together as we actors and as the characters, both at the same time, basically. But actually, we did The Miniaturist first, which is really interesting, and I did find it quite challenging because it was all about the tone and getting that atmosphere right and getting the dynamics right from the get-go. So yeah, it was really fun to work on, and it was just really not what it was just completely not what I expected we were going to do. So that's another fun thing about radio and audio drama. Yeah, you go in and you can record something backwards, or you can record the thing that you thought you were going to do first last, and the other way around. So you don't really know what you're going to do, so you just have to rock up prepared, but in your jammies, so it's fine.
Just go for it. Brilliant. No, it's awesome. I really enjoyed it.
So I've got another question from Twitter here. This is, sometimes when we get names from people on Twitter and I don't know how to pronounce them.
I think they do it to you on purpose, Jeff. I
think they must do. So I'm just going to go for this.
Go for it.
Giltster, and at Dennis Gill 10. He says, what's it like working with three actors who portrayed the First Doctor, and how did they portray each performance differently? So Peter Purves, David Bradley and Stephen that we've been talking about.
That's an interesting question. I think it's just always really fun because you're just on your feet all the time, and you just have to react to what you're given to, and that's why I love acting as well, and why I love never really premeditating anything. You just stay in the moment, and then even though I've got the lines in front of me, I like to just sort of make as much eye contact with the people that I'm working opposite with as possible. Sometimes that's not always possible in audio because you've got people dotted about all over the country, and sometimes we're not always able to get into the studio together, so we're not able to see each other. But we've got our cans, we've got our headphones on, so we're communicating via that. So I just imagine their reactions based on kind of the dynamic that they're giving me with their voice. But yeah, it's always really fun because you just don't know what you're going to get, and you don't know how people do things so differently. Everyone's got their own interpretation, which I think is really, really cool. And what other show has that, where you've got so many different actors that can bring their own spin to one character? It's just, it's incredible. So it's good fun as an actor.
When you've been recording, have you mostly all been together? Because we've spoken to a couple of people like Bevnisha Palmer, who's done some Big Finish, and quite a bit of her stuff, Paul, was during lockdown and stuff, so it was all remote. And I don't think she hadn't done an in-person session. I don't think. It sounds like you've managed to do some, Lauren, and I expect it's better to be react to each other like you were saying, even though it's a different environment to being on stage or filming, but to be opposite each other and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love Bevnisha. She's amazing. I actually went to university with Bevnisha. So
did you?
Did you?
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did theatre and performance at Leeds together. And then we both went off to drama school afterwards. But we actually bumped into each other in Chicago. Was it Chicago? No, Los Angeles earlier this year at Gallifrey. One of the big conventions. And it was, oh my goodness, we haven't seen each other.
Brilliant.
Yeah, because I knew that she was in the Doctor Who community and world from her work on screen. But since doing the screen work, she's come in and done a few roles with Big Finish. So yeah, it's always I love her. I really rate her. She's a fantastic actor,
she is,
and just such good energy. I actually listened to your podcast that you did.
Oh, did you?
Well, thank you.
She's just so infectious.
She really is. Yeah.
Really wonderful energy and gratitude and work ethic and just talent, and she's just so great to be around. I've just gone on a huge rant about how much I love Bav. What was the?
That's perfectly understandable. Get that?
Being in the studio.
Yes, that was it. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, I much prefer being in the studio.
Yeah.
I know lots of actors, but luckily I'm actually. Well, I don't know if you view it as luckily, depending on where you are in the country. I'm actually from London, and a lot of the recording is based in London, so it's not too
far to travel.
Travel-wise, it's really easy for me to get to the studios because we're in sort of West London, and then going a couple of dotted around, but usually they're quite easy to get to. So I do understand the perks of being able to record from home, and during COVID, that was what we were doing. I was doing a lot of recording at home. I actually didn't mind it as much as I thought I was going to, because I set up in my parents' coat cupboard. So the Glamour, if you listen to the Secrets of Death's End, that was recorded. So the whole thing was recorded in my coat cupboard.
That's brilliant.
Not recorded.
This is what we want to hear. Where people did their COVID recordings. I think we've had airing cupboards, shoe cupboards, broom cupboards. It's brilliant.
Oh my
Love
God.
it.
I sat for 2 days on an upturned bucket with four big cushions and my duvet in there.
It's trying to soundproof, right?
Literally, but a coat cupboard is amazing because you've got all the winter coats around hanging up on hooks. So that just kind of muffled all the sound. That I worked out in the house, that was going to be the studio. So I'd stick a little sign on the door pretending that I was in the studio, because I moved in with my parents for lockdown, because so many people didn't they? They wanted to do it alone. But yeah, I mean, apologies if you did do it alone, and props to you. I stuck a little sign on the door and was like, silence, recording in progress. And I just sat in there, and it was fun. You had my headphones on. And it got very hot in there, I remember. And I did have to say, like, if my parents, if you don't hear me for a while, maybe just come and check on me in case I
passed out from heat exhaustion or something.
Literally, like running away from a Yeti in the Himalayas. But the most hilarious thing was my cupboard. It had like an air vent in it at the top, which was connected to, I think it was my sister's room, which was above. And there was when we were all locked in, she came home and was working from home for a bit, and I'm screaming, help, running away from me. And one day she did come down and was like, oh my God, are you? And I was like, oh, Sophie, just had to car. No, I'm fine. Like, I'm literally just in the Himalayas. Don't mind me. So it was just you go back to selling houses, and I go back to running away from
saving the universe. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it had its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Well, was one of the cons that you didn't get to have the legendary Big Finish lunch when you were doing the sessions at home?
Oh, yes. You guys will know all about this.
Does it exist though? We've heard mixed stories. That it was a buffet and now it's no longer a buffet, or
Bav told us
still
it
there?
was...
Tell us, Lauren. Tell us. We need to know, please.
Are you ready for me to spill the tea?
Please.
I am going to spill the tea on lunches.
Go for it.
They did exist. They no longer exist.
No.
Because that's what the studio is now no more. I think it was an amazing studio. It was so cool. Because it was just kind of so confined, I guess. It was so small and cozy, and all the booths, you would each go into your separate booth.
I thought you said booze for a minute. Sorry. Separate booze. Have your own booze, thank you very much.
Your booze.
That's mine. Get off.
But no, you all had your own separate booths in which go and record your bits in, and each of the booths had like graffiti in there, which was loads of actors who recorded in there writing. So you'd be sitting in there, and I'd be waiting for my scene to come, and I'm just staring at all this graffiti in there of all these amazing actors that had signed it from their time. It was really kind of atmospheric and just really cool and fun. And then the lunches we had. I'm not even joking, 3-course meals at lunch. A starter, a main, and a dessert. And it was all laid out in the most incredible restaurant-style 5-star. Imagine the best 5-star hotel that you've been to when you get a buffet. Yeah. We're not talking like a Holiday Inn breakfast buffet here. No. This is like a 5-star premium, all-inclusive resort-style buffet. Wow. And you could just help yourself. Honestly, every time I would go and record there, I needed to be like rolled home. Because,
carted out.
We were all in food comas after lunch as well.
No.
It was like we'd all just been to a restaurant together. It was mad. They did exist, and sadly they don't anymore because we're no longer at that particular studio, because it had the facilities as well for it to be made there or nearby. Dotted about here and there now. It's just takeaway sandwiches.
That's what Bav said. She said it was. Do you remember? Bav said it was a real deal or something.
She disappointed us. She burst our balloons with that one, didn't she?
Yeah.
She goes, I don't disappoint you, but
it was. They were legendary. You know, they were
not that we ever got to sample the Big Finish lunches or whatever. You know.
I'm very #grateful, #blessed that I got to experience.
Yeah. We can appreciate this vicariously through you, Lauren.
Tastes so good. Tastes so good.
I think I had salmon on one day, just roast baked to perfection.
You're rubbing it in now.
Yeah.
So.
Cheers.
I'll stop.
That's what I guess do.
Well, on the positive, you guys will never have to listen to us banging on about them anymore because they're gone. So,
see, there's always an upside, isn't there?
I like that. You spun that nicely. Yeah. So, Lauren, when you worked with Tom Baker on Planet of the Witches, what was that like? Were you in the same studio as Tom? How was it?
Yeah, that was awesome. I think, was that at Moat? I believe that was at Moat. So we were in there. Tom wasn't there.
Tom wasn't there.
No, he recorded his lines remotely, sadly. So again, that's another funny thing about, when you do audio, you can love actors and rate them and be, I'm so excited, I'm doing this with this actor, and then you get to the studio and someone else is reading in.
So is that how it was done then? So because I've wondered sometimes, listening to them and knowing that people haven't recorded together, that must make it a little bit more challenging when maybe you've got someone else filling in, or you've just got to kind of imagine them reading a line and then deliver yours. It must be quite hard to then put the right tone in and the right energy on everything. Yeah, do you know what? It's a mixture of both sometimes, because occasionally when you've got really intense high drama scenes, they'll tend to get a stand-in actor, and so that actor tends to be really good. So it's not as if you're
to it. You know, when you go to casting sometimes and a casting director reads with you, it is literally like talking to a wall. It's really challenging. They give you nothing.
They're literally just reading the lines. Dodo, don't go, please. I don't know what I would do without you.
Help me, I'm in danger.
Oh no, it's a Yeti. Ooh.
Exactly. So it's not like that. But occasionally, so they'll get an actual actor in that gives you something. So when they put it together, it doesn't sound completely weird.
That makes sense.
It makes it, you know, they join, the energies join.
But saying that in a weird way, though, that could be like, so when you're doing it with a standing actor and then you listen to the finished product, it must sound a bit weird because that's not how you remember it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is kind of odd. We've done it ways. I think I've been quite lucky in that I've always just gone first.
Brilliant.
So you get to set the tone for it.
Yeah.
I've not done it where I've listened to the other person's recording. It's been a stand-in, or I've recorded mine and then they've gone and recorded theirs. Right. So I've been quite lucky in that.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'm sure I will experience it the other way around.
The other way, yeah. So, was David Tennant there when you recorded, or was he?
I am so happy to tell you that he was
yes.
there. We had a lovely time. We got a couple of photos with him as well. With him and Catherine Tate, who I'm also a massive fan of. Just working with them, he is absolutely incredible. He's just. Again, it's like watching Stephen Noonan at work in terms of his physicality is just something that I was absolutely mesmerised by. And when I came on to play Ivy, that was one of the biggest roles that I'd had out of drama school. So I really was quite nervous about coming in and working with him because I admired him so much. I feel that being around him and just because of how down to earth and how nice he was and how absolutely phenomenal he was when he was reading as the Doctor, it really made me up my game. So I feel that I was matching what he was doing in terms of like the energy and coming in quick on cues and all that kind of keeping it up and just really throwing myself into it, which I do anyway. But I just feel being around that echelon of like amazing talent, it just makes any actor kind of really, really up their game themselves. So I feel like I learned a lot from just being in his presence and just watching him work.
The two of you were great in that story. You've listened to that one as well, haven't you, Paul? And you know, the Doctor likes Ivy, doesn't he? And you could sort of tell that, you know, sometimes there's kind of like one-off companions and stuff in the show, and you know, people think, oh, it'd be great if they came back, or you know, they could be a companion, and you could kind of tell that, you know, the Doctor and Ivy could.
The chemistry's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The dynamic.
Oh, do you know what? I'm so pleased because that was one of the most enjoyable episodes that I've ever done for Big Finish, and the reaction from that, and Roy Gill, myself, we've kept in touch because I just loved the story so much, like the 50s and the fog and London and. You know, I just thought the story itself was really, really, really interesting, and just the way that he wrote that dynamic between the Doctor and Ivy, and it was just really, really, it was really magical. So and we've kept in touch and we've done a few podcasts since then, and a few people have said we want to see Ivy come back. We want.
I was just going to say, I did hear that David said he's not going to do any more Big Finish, but we should kick off a campaign to get Ivy.
Yeah, he'll come back. Him and Big Finish are like that. So they're good old mates, aren't they? They've been around forever.
We spoke to Helen Goldwyn, who played
yes, we did.
The monster in.
See now who's name dropping, huh?
Yeah.
Jeff, you bad boy.
That was quite interesting because she was all, you know, the vocal was treated and everything, wasn't it? And it was quite fun finding out how she kind of developed all that and got into the part doing it. So you played a witch, didn't you? But you haven't really played a kind of full-on monster or anything yet in this series, have you?
I haven't, and I've got to be so careful with what I say now. But there is something upcoming. Let's just say I had the absolute time of my life recording it.
Brilliant.
I'm looking forward to that, whatever it is, but that we don't know about.
Say, whatever that is.
Along those lines, but you just wait.
Oh, I'm excited already now, aren't I? She's got me excited now. I can't wait for it. I've no idea what it is, but I'm excited.
Yeah, the fact that you're excited kind of gets us excited.
Yeah, look, my peak hat is twitching now. See, that's what
quivering
happens.
with excitement. Yeah,
quiver.
But when an actor has, when an actor has enjoyed something that they've done,
it comes through, doesn't it? It comes through the performance, and I think in audio especially because it's just in the voice. We don't see your face. We've just got to imagine all that. And but if the energy comes through, the emotion comes through just on the voice, we get it, we pick it up, and we go along with it, and we love it for that, don't we, Jeff?
Yeah, we do, and also quite a big fan of.
Was that where you were going with that, or were you not? Were you think there's something else?
No, kind
I'll just go off on another train track. I'll do that.
No, you're fine. You're in the same station. Sort of.
Phew, that's a relief.
But when an actor is obviously...
Down it.
Hey, that went down nice.
But you can tell when...
Sorry, go on.
You can tell when an actor...
Do you want me to cue you in?
Yes.
You can tell when an actor... Go.
That's my line. So you can tell when an actor is really into the part that they're playing and the whole community of it, and that's something that's kind of clear with you, Lauren, that you're enjoying the part and all the kind of peripheral stuff with it as well. Same with Bav as well, wasn't it, Paul? She loved doing it and the show and stuff, and I like that when people are enthusiastic.
And Helen as well, actually, because she's
Helen,
she's really into it, isn't she?
And everyone we've spoken to, but I like that it's not just a job; it's more than a job to you. You understand how what it means to people, and you're having a great time doing it yourself, which I think is also really important, rather than just kind of going through the motions on it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like especially in every job that I do, I always like to commit.
Yes.
And that is the most important thing that you can do, and what I've learned in working in the Doctor Who world is that it's just commit. If you commit, you really see. And what's amazing and what I love about audio drama is that I don't get to hear any of that extra jazz that they do in post-production. I don't get to hear the sound effects going off, something, aliens landing, the explosions, this, that, we don't get to hear any of it. So we're literally listening to the direct, Nick Briggs, so you're like, louder, faster, right?
More intense.
Exactly. Do that, but good.
Do it better this time.
I'm joking. He doesn't say that, but he just swears a lot. We don't get any of that. So that's what I love. That's part of the challenge, and that's why I love it so much, and that's why hopefully it does come through that I'm having fun whilst running away and trying to save the world. Because it's so imaginative, and I think that's why I do it, and I think that's why I'm still doing it now, because I've always loved adventure and imagining things and just running away with that, and this is just the ultimate playground to get to do this in, but within reason.
And I suppose when the finished episodes come out and you listen to them, you're hearing it anew again, aren't you? Because you didn't hear any of the stuff that was done on it, so you obviously the story and you recorded it, but listening to it, it's like a completely different thing again, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And because Big Finish do like to work in advance, so they'll get their scripts and they'll get it recorded, and this is prepped for a release, later the next year or early next year or whenever the dates is. I don't know when. No one tells me anything. But, I think I don't like actors to talk about it because then secrets get out.
You get invited onto podcasts and we ask you questions.
So we have to be so careful. Because it takes a while. Then you sort of when you do a part, if you just cling on to that part, you'll never be able to. You have to let them go. So as sad as it is, and as attached as you get to the people that the shoes that you're stepping into, after you've recorded it, you do have to let them go, because otherwise, your mental health will go in the bin. But for a lot of the sci-fi ones, anyway. But
Yeah, so you do have to let them go. So when you do get to listen to them again, it is really fresh. And like I said, we don't get to hear any of the effects. So we're listening to it exactly the same time as the listeners get it released.
Right.
I don't get to listen to it any sooner. I don't get to listen to any first drafts. We don't get to hear anything.
Yeah.
We go, we record it. I think we do maximum really of like 3 takes per scene.
Really?
We tend not to do anymore just because of the sheer. I mean, have you seen the size of a Big Finish script? Has anyone shown you one? I wish I had another one. I wish I had one to show you, but it's literally like a Harry Potter novel.
Oh my goodness!
It's so much material to get through in quite a short space of time. So that's why it's so important to rock up to the studio prepped, and so you know you don't have to do it. You do have the opportunity to try a couple of things, but you just kind of want to come in knowing what's going on in this scene, and hit the ground. So go as if you're gonna bag the first. You're gonna get it in first take wonder.
Yeah. One take wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were at Gallifrey 1 earlier this year, weren't you? With a whole load of other Who alumni. How was it for you? Was that the first time you've done anything like that?
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was my first Gallifrey. I went to the Chicago TARDIS last November, and I've actually just been announced today as a guest for this Chicago TARDIS this November.
Congrats.
So yay, thank you. I'm so excited to go back again. It's so nice to be invited back because
awesome.
this is Chicago TARDIS last November was my first convention, and then Gallifrey was my second one, but the first time I've been to Gallifrey, and they're two very different conventions, as the listeners who've been will know, and if you guys have been, will know, they're just very, very different, but the same amazing atmosphere, just the people are incredible, and it really opened my eyes to what a wonderful world, and how special the Doctor Who is to so many people, and just how popular it is in America.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It really blew my mind, but I spent a lot of the weekend talking to people. Amazing people come up and tell me stories about how Doctor Who has impacted their lives in a positive way, and especially during COVID. I think that's when people had the time to catch. Lots of people were saying they'd got these big Finish collections. Very big Finish
went through the back catalogue.
And they were able to sit and actually listen to lots of them. Then wanted to talk about the stories, and then lots of people were sharing some really, really personal kind of experiences of how they were listening. I know you guys were saying that you listen a lot when you're driving. That's the same. That was the case for some people, and a really lovely gentleman was telling me about when a family member of his was quite poorly, and he was listening to the Big Finish episodes driving to the hospital, obviously going through a really difficult time there and being in an awful situation, but then knowing that he had the second part to look forward to on the way home, and he said that was what got him through that really difficult time. So it really did open my eyes to when we go in, we're thinking of the stories, the characters, the accents, the what we're doing in terms of technicalities of putting this all together, and we're working as a team to make it, but then you have to let all that go, and then you realize that it goes out to the listeners, and then everyone is so important. Every individual is important, and every individual has got their own experience of listening to audio drama and what it means to them. So it was just really, really awesome to hear people's experiences, and it was really touching and really quite emotional at times, listening to how important. It just made me I just feel like I connected with a lot of people, and they were really grateful for what we do as part of the Doctor Who community and team in keeping these stories alive, keeping them going, like I said, committing to them, keeping the quality. I'm a big believer in sort of the manifestation and upscaling, and everything that I do, I like to upscale and come back and do it better, do it bigger and better. So I feel that I'm growing and learning about Dodo every single episode. It's incredible.
Brilliant.
As fans, I think we are, one of the luckiest fandoms, because there's so much stuff, isn't there, Paul? We talked about the other day. The show, when the show started, if you didn't see it that day on TV, that was it.
That
it was gone.
Yeah.
And then, episodes have been deleted and lost, and it was off air for years. And, but there's been Big Finish and books and comics and all this stuff that has, expanded and grown the universe and kept it alive and does so today. And it's incredible. And then not only that, but the fact that everyone involved in it, is so passionate.
So passionate.
And the stuff that we get is so good. And, we really are lucky that there's just, it's a show that just kind of, it keeps on giving. But, there's just, there's so much great stuff there. And, we really are very lucky, I think, to have so much good stuff and good people involved.
That was nicely put, Jeff.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Really nicely.
Thanks.
Some water was nearly coming out of my eyes there.
The eyes are sweating.
That might be a fly flew in there. It's got lost behind my cornea or something.
So, I've got a question from Elvwood on Gallifrey Base.
Elvwood.
And he asks if you might go to Big Finish Day next year.
Oh, I'd love to go to Big Finish Day next year.
Where's Big Finish Day?
It's a day all about Big Finish.
Yeah, all celebrating all things Big Finish.
Okay.
I am a Big Finish fan, so I'd love to, and I've done a lot of work with them. So if I get an invite, I would be delighted to go. But maybe I'll just tag along and gatecrash and just hang out with you guys instead.
Yes,
so,
we should.
We could coordinate our gate crashing. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
We'll
take a
together.
door at a time. Yeah.
Distract, divert, and destroy. No, not destroy. Get in there. Sorry.
Paul hasn't actually been to any conventions. You do need to go, don't you?
I do. Yeah, it just never seems to be quite the right time for me. But I will one of these
Lauren,
days.
I went to London Film and Comic Con back in February, and it was Jodie Whittaker's first convention appearance. So I thought I've got to go. She's my favourite Doctor. I've got to go meet Jodie. And I said to Paul, "Do you want to come?" And you couldn't because you had some family thing going on. I think.
Just a little family thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a little family thing. So I went and I met some of the guys that we know on Twitter, and it was brilliant. We talk almost every day on Twitter and have done for years, isn't it? That's how Paul and I met, through Twitter, and then we've worked together and stuff. And so I met the guys first time, in real life, and it was fab. It was like, we knew each other really well, and then met Jodie, and she was awesome, and it was a great day. And I phoned Paul and I said, I've met Jodie, she was brilliant. What have you been doing? And he says, well, I've been left at home. The rest of the family have gone out, and they've left me behind.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you could have come.
I could have come.
So,
oh my god.
Yeah, you missed your
I was
your
disappointed
there,
actually.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll make it happen.
Yes,
Paul,
I do. I have to manifest the universe to make it happen. Have all the conjunction of everything in the right way, in the right place, and then I can do it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, manifest. It's going to happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
See it, and then it will.
Exactly. Yes. Visualize, experience, and then it will just happen. Yeah. Just go for it.
So, Lauren, tell us a bit about your work outside of the Doctor Who universe. What else do you get up to?
Ooh, okay. I will spill the tea. Yeah. What always makes me laugh is when actors kind of are like, oh, well, I'm an actor. That's it. And that's all I do. Actually,
I'm an actor and I act.
Yeah, I act for a living. But no, I'm a real advocate, and I speak really openly about having other jobs.
Brilliant.
I think it's really important. So I do acting, and acting is of course my favourite job, and that's the job that I would love to do every single day in, day out. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that for the majority of working actors out there. So I do a few things. I do teach radio drama at some drama schools. So I teach at the drama school that I went to, Drama Studio London. That's over in Ealing. That's always really fun. I really enjoy teaching there. I've taught at a couple of other schools, Italia Conti. I'm teaching at Fourth Monkey soon. A bit of radio acting, coaching. And then I trained as a fitness instructor during lockdown just for fun.
Yeah, hey.
So I teach Zumba and dance cardio.
Brilliant.
And dance fitness aerobics. Actually, my main role is I'm head of PR for an agency which is in the music industry.
Oh wow!
So when I look after music campaigns within the sports realm, which is very, very different to what I do when I'm going on adventures with Stephen. But yeah, it's really fun, and I'm a Pisces, so I don't know if you guys are into your star signs and your horoscopes, but I'm very typical Pisces. I was always drawn to the sort of like creative industry, so I knew that if I wasn't going to go into sort of acting, it was going to be something in the music industry, whether that's sort of behind the scenes, producing, coming up with like music video concepts, and art is going to be something in the arts, much to my parents' disgust. Dismay. So I look after an account for Formula One. I'm into my car racing.
Wow.
So I look at the official Formula One playlist. And so that involves sort of like updating that every Friday with my team that I work with, and it's kind of getting artists involved in sports campaigns and amplifying their music and their promotional campaigns and album releases and all that kind of stuff within the sports realm. I do that on the side, which it's kind of cool because I get to still be creative. It's still in the entertainment world. I'm using my brain. I get to come up with fun ideas to do things, to integrate music and sport, which is really cool. And there has been some crossovers. Occasionally I get to do a little voiceover for something here and there. I need to do more of those though.
More voiceover, yes.
More voiceover. We'd like to manifest some more of those. So I do that, and I know that I know Bav was talking about she got a job with a production company, and I do think that's always really, really useful and really interesting. You can do something within the world that you're in as an actor, so that you can kind of still jump into to those kind of avenues as well, so you're not completely closing yourself off. Because I think you guys were saying it's difficult when you work a bar job, because I was a waitress, typical ever. I was waitressing at the diner, which is super fun though, because I love American food, so it's great. I put on loads of weight when I was there. But yeah, it was awesome, but it was difficult, and it's kind of a bit monotonous. I'm the type of person, I like to be creative. I like to use my brain while I'm not acting, and I think whenever I get a script, I'm the type of person, I'll read it 3 times. I sort of speak about this when people are like, how do you even approach a big finished script? Well, I read it once for the story, twice to highlight my lines in it and see what my character's doing in it, and then 3 times to just mark it up punctuation wise, and then sort of see my notes combined with the story to see how they both fit and what. So I study it 3 times like it's a novel, really. And
you said it's quite a big thing as well. It's a massive old wedge of paper.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's intense. But it's really fun. I mean, the coolest job, getting to read a story and then figure out how you're gonna step into this character and go on this adventure like in person. I mean, it's just so awesome. But when I'm not doing that, I'm managing campaigns for artists.
That's amazing.
I'm organising Katy Perry's singles within the Formula One playlist.
That's brilliant.
And things like that.
I don't know how you get the time for it. So that plus the dancing and was it dancing strutting, wasn't he? Saying that.
I like to do that, keeping fit.
And the voiceover coaching and everything else, and the big finish and the Formula One stuff. Wow, that's amazing, honestly. Yeah.
It's a lot, isn't it? I feel sorry for my accountant.
Pull all these receipts and invoices together from various different places.
Shout out to Mark, he's amazing. But it is a lot. But I feel like I'm the type of person, I've always been, I've got such a strong work ethic. I don't know if that's good. I'm from a working class background. Both my parents have always worked. I've had a job since like from the second I would get hired. I think I was 16, and then I got a job at Topshop in Oxford Circus. That was like my first job. And ever since then, I've always been a little bit of a hustler. Like, I DJ as well. I had a rock show. Shout out to the Metal Hoovian.
Yes.
But I did a rock show for a bit and was hosting on that. I think I've just got a real passion and zest for life and like all things creative, things that I enjoy. And I like talking to people who are a bit clueless, like a bit not clueless, but they don't know what they want to do and they don't have passions in life.
Looking for a direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because life is so awesome, and we're so lucky to be here. And there's so much out there that inspires me. So I think I'm one of the types of people that I just like helping people. And whether that's helping them escape and listen to our drama through our acting, or helping them via encouraging, like, come on people, let's do some Zumba moves. And, forget about your rubbish day. Let's just, have 45 minutes for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just always been one of those. Again, it comes back to being a Pisces, I think. Just enjoying things that are slightly creative. I'm very emotions led, and I'm just always putting myself in other people's shoes and thinking, like, how can I make this person's day better?
Brilliant. I think that's a fabulous ethic to have, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
the
best mindset, the best attitude. I love that. You've even made me feel energetic. Look, my posture's slightly better now. I mean, that's pretty good.
There you go.
But working in the creative industry, so I run a little video production company, and I feel very lucky every day to get to do something I love. And it's a cliche, but it's not really work because I enjoy it so much. And I could be stuck in an office crunching numbers or whatever, but I worked hard to be able to get this working, and like you were saying, when you worked in was it Topshop and stuff, I worked at my dad's fishing shop. I also worked at a video shop, and I worked at Sainsbury's flogging petrol, and I did all of that, and uni, and but then I ran on adverts, and did short films and built it up, and that was nearly 20 years ago now. But you often, I meet people, and you probably do as well, they'd love to be photographers, or they want to act, or do this or do that, but they've ended up kind of stuck in a job that won't allow them to do that, and because it's so 9 to 5, or so regimented, and doing what you're doing, Lauren, it gives you that freedom, but to be able to pursue the big finish or stage work or whatever it might be, but also it's fulfilling that creative side of you, and like for me, like when lockdown happened, I lost all the work I had lined up, so went from being pretty good to being bloody terrifying, and thinking, and maybe same for you, what do I do if this doesn't start again? I could go and get a job again at Sainsbury's or something and do that, and I'd hate to, but I need to look after my kids and my wife and all of that kind of stuff, and I do it, but
it's not what you want to do, is it?
It's not what I want to do, but so I feel very lucky to get to do what I do, and like I said earlier, Paul and I've worked together a couple of times. It was 2 years ago our first.
It was, it came up on my Facebook memories. God bless it.
So it's great, and that's why I had to reschedule the other week, which I felt really bad about. But I've been doing a load of work for a band lately. No, just a tribute band. But they they had a studio session booked, and I was like, oh my god, I need to go to it, because I'm filming all this stuff that's all slotting together, and then we were filming them playing live on Friday night, which was good fun. So it's great. I love being creative, and and you get to do it as well, Paul.
I do.
Your stuff a little bit, don't you?
Every day's a different day. It hasn't been the last week or so, but mostly it's because you run your own business. You can pretty much do what you want, to be fair. So if it's something you don't want to do, just and it's like people say, "What do you do in your business?" Well, whatever I want to do, really. That's pretty much it.
And it probably applies for you as well, Lauren. You do something, and you might spend a couple of weeks on it or whatever, and it's great, and you learn from it and you enjoy it, but then you go on to something else, and whilst the process might be the same, so for me, I write my script, point the camera, do the edit, what I'm working on is different, and the people that I'm meeting with and working with is different, and that's one of the things I enjoy the most, is kind of figuring people out, how light-hearted can I be with them, or how much hand-holding do they need to be comfortable in front of the camera, or whatever it might be, and I love that part of it, and meeting people that I get on with and know will do a good job for me, and that we'll have a good time doing it, and that's why I work with a lot of the same people, and well, hopefully that's why Paul keeps asking me to go and do stuff.
Exactly. No, that's so true, and it's just about sort of creating that, I don't know, I guess that safe space for yourself, and this kind of this is me, this is what I like, and just being accepting of who you are and what you're about and what you like, and just being like, you know what, life is too short to do this really, this job that makes you feel horrible. Like, or if you are tied into that, don't worry, because there's always time. You can still find the time, whether it's just 10 minutes in the morning before you do something, or 10 minutes on a lunch break, or whatever, even if it's just to look at some images that stimulate you in that, and that thing like, right, okay, next week I'm going to go and take my camera out and go and do a little shoot, or when I get this day off, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to make this song, I'm going to write this song, I'm going to, whatever it is that kind of makes you tick and gets you excited about life. You have to do that for yourself. You have to give yourself permission to enjoy yourself, because otherwise we are going into a bit of a dark old time. Not to get a bit dark or whatever, but you've got to find the light.
Yeah, you do, and I kind of a long time ago, like I wanted to be James Cameron, the greatest living film director of all time. And that's
unbelievable.
But obviously, that was never going to happen. But
hey, there's still time, Jeff. You can still do that, my friend.
But I can build a career and a business and do something I love. And I used to do a lot of music videos in my early days as well. And bands they'd want to play Wembley, which is fine. But we used to talk about it and sort of like, well, if you can make a living from it and you're maybe just doing smaller tours or something, but you don't have to work in an office, I'd say that's a win, rather than aiming high, like, and not getting there and quitting, or, getting to do something creative that you love. That's, you couldn't ask for something better. And if you get to be, global with it and a superstar, brilliant. But if not, it sure beats, pumping fuel and arguing over pennies with people.
Hey, some people like pumping fuel, some people
they do, and I'm not saying it's a bad job at all, but like we've talked about, like, what.
But if you always want to be a creative, if you always want to be an actor or a musician or a writer, you go and do it and soak up life experiences and do what you got to do.
Yeah. And my parents were a bit like yours, Lauren. My dad's quite well known in the fishing world. And when I started getting into filming, I think he thought there's no money in it, it's unstable, and he was really kind of not on board with it. But, he's and it was my mum, really. She said, you should quit Sainsbury's, try the filming for 6 months and see how you go. And I thought, okay. So I did it for 6 months, then another 6, then another 6, and I thought, maybe I'm okay, And then, in time, my dad kind of came around, because it is a scary thing, isn't it, to go out there into something that is, a month here or a week here, or, whatever it might be. And, it's not stable, but if you can make it work, it's great.
No, it's the fear. You've got to, sometimes you just have to take the plunge.
Well, you need it a little bit as well, I think, because otherwise you get complacent and you just think...
It's one of those weird things, though, but when your rent's due, or you've got to pay a bill, or you've got to do something, you will always find the money.
Yeah.
Like, you just will, whether it's doing a market research or something like that, like, there's always going to be... You will hustle and get that. I do feel you've really got to go for it. If you've got a real passion to do something, you can't ignore that, and you can't because that won't ever go away. That's still going to be there, and you don't want to get to a point where perhaps you're unable to do it then, like whether you're physically or financially or whatever, you are really tied in and you can't do it. You're going to say, I wish I did that when I could.
Yeah, that would be the worst, wouldn't it, to get to so far down the line. I wish I'd done that.
Exactly. And I just don't believe in regrets. I feel like if you fail, so what? You gave it a go, and that's much more impressive and much more credible to say you gave something a go and failed than to not have tried at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah, we're getting all philosophical tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So, here's a slightly different question for you. So, what would be your dream role in any medium, stage, film, or audio?
Oh my goodness, there's so many that
Go on then, pick a couple.
Okay, so obviously we know that I love horror.
Yes.
So I would love to play. Well, I say this is horror, but it's a bit more. It's real life horror, I guess. I've always been obsessed with London's history. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I would love to play a prostitute, a lady of the night from the Victorian Jack the Ripper era. And go down that, and it would be some kind of dark Sweeney Todd-esque kind of vibe. I mean, I've got it in my
fog,
head.
The gaslight.
Yes. Oh, 100%. centre of, like, for Russell T Davies to have written it. And yeah, I love him. I think his writing's amazing. I'm just waiting for the day that he writes a Big Finish that I can, for Dodo and the Doctor. And so yeah, some kind of, because I love all those. I love all those sort of Victorian. Those kind of films, From Hell, things like that, and just Sweeney Todd, that kind of vibe. So yeah, I'd love to go and do something there, and it would be quite dark, but there'd be a little bit of humour in it, light humour here and there.
Yes.
But on the whole, it would be quite spooky and quite scary, and just London back in the days when it was just riddled with the rats were roaming the streets, or smell, the remnants of plague and all of that kind of stuff going on.
Lauren, I'll buy a ticket to see that when it gets made.
There you go, definitely. I'll be there as well. Yeah.
You should pitch an idea like that to Big Finish. Get Nick Briggs to write it.
I'm gonna talk to Nick when I next see him about it. I told him the other day that I love his style as well. He'd look great in something like that. He's got the
face for it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the face for it.
In the best sort of way.
In a nice way, yeah.
And he does. And he always wears a cool little trilby or a little hat. And he is the sharpest dressed man I've ever met.
See, we need to talk to Nick Briggs, don't we? We've got to try and get him on here somehow. I know he's really, really busy, but we've got to...
I did speak to his agent.
Did you?
He said get back in touch in the new year. Get back in touch in January. Okay. So
keep going. We'll see. I'll say that I spoke to you guys. I'll put in a good word.
Thanks, Lauren. You're a star.
Yes. And November at Chicago TARDIS. I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah, brilliant. Paul will put the check in the post.
Nice one. Yeah, it's on its way. Signature's still wet.
There you go. But yeah, no, we need to pitch something like that, because I think that would be awesome.
Because he's done he did Sherlock Holmes stuff for Big Finish, and they've done Frankenstein, I think, with Arthur Darvill.
Well, even the Jago Lightfoot stuff, they kind of pulls from that from those sort of threads. It's right in that world of pea supers and stalking killers and weird things afoot.
Exactly. Things that only come out at night.
Yes, exactly that. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one, Laura. Well done. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, I just thought of that Fly
like
Guy.
it. Yeah. Improv straight away. That's talent right there. That is. Love it.
Well, you write it, I'll film it, and Paul can do all the monster voices.
Yeah. There you go. That'll do. That's my entire repertoire right there. That is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Speaking of those monster voices, one of my favourite parts of the recording process for anything is the wild tracks.
Oh, right. Yes, I think Helen made allusion to these, didn't she?
Other parts played by members of the cast.
Basically, yes. If you've got kind of hordes of prisoners, people, a group of people, just monsters screaming, any kind of sound effects of people being lifted, or just basically anything that you can't pin it to one voice. So you just need a group of people to do that. You all get it at the end of it. It's my favourite part of the day. I'm not even joking. I love it. Loads of people hate it. I love it. And you get together and you're all sort of like looking, you're in a circle basically, sharing the mics, which is so fun. And whoever the director is, will sort of say, right, everyone's just gonna build up a big scream as soon as we go in. So ready, and 3, 2, 1, there we go. And we're just gonna let it play. And you just build it up, and everyone's sort of and you just make it up, you just improvise, and you're all kind of laughing, but also fully committing to it. And then when you listen to it back, it's like, oh my god, we did that.
Do you know, that's just given me an idea for a game.
Oh.
Which is throw a scenario at Lauren and get her to do a wild track.
Right there.
I think sometimes the directors do just do it for fun, though.
And what you don't know is there's a secret camera filming all of it.
I positioned and forgot about.
Yeah, right there.
But yeah, they do go on for an uncomfortably long time sometimes. So I do think the directors are just like, look at how awkward everyone's feeling now. Because at first you can really get into it, but then if it is going on too long and you're all just wailing in pain, and it's just not ending, the director's cut. It gets to a point where you're like, is everyone we're still going? Are we still going?
It's still recording,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still recording. Okay, all right.
Should we do something? Let's do one now. Should we do one? What should we do?
Okay.
Should we do zombies in pain?
Okay, you do zombies in pain. That's good.
All right.
I'm in pain. I'm a zombie. I'm in pain.
Okay. How about someone falling down the stairs and hurting themselves?
Okay, we can do that.
Go together. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Phew, that was lucky. Poof!
Okay. Oh, he's still going.
No, see, that's the thing. The actors can continue for as long as they want as well. So
that's good fun.
an event, you might get the director saying,
They say, guys, we stopped recording 15 minutes ago.
I think
you're like, shush, I'm in my moment.
I'm still dying.
Yeah, like, hang on a sec, I need my moment.
Yeah. Never take it away from an actor, darling. This is what we live for. This is what we thrive upon. How dare you, mere directors? Who do you think you are?
Exactly.
Brilliant stuff.
So, yeah, that was really fun. I enjoyed
that sounds like great fun. So what's next on the horizon then, Lauren?
Well, Chicago TARDIS.
Of course, yeah.
So that's in November. And then I did a little part in an Amazon series. So that's First TV. So I'm excited for that to come out. I think it keeps getting pushed back, but it's called The Power.
The Power.
And it's a TV adaptation, well, a series adaptation from the book.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of Hollywood A-listers in it. So I'm like,
that sounds
what
fun.
the hell am I doing in that? But yeah, so that was my first TV, and I remember actually listening to your podcast with Bab, and she was talking about when it was her first day on set, and it was like her first kind of big role after she's landed, and I could relate to that because it's really nerve-wracking. She was talking about you basically get shoved in a trailer, and I've been dreaming of the day that I had my own trailer on a set, and when it actually happened, I was like, oh, this is so weird. I mean, I'm buzzing because I've got my own trailer on a set, but also I've literally just got here, been shoved in this trailer, and I'm waiting now for someone to tell me what I'm doing. You're really at the mercy of everyone around you, and you just get told, stand here, wear this, you're in hair and makeup. It was wild, but it was an amazing, incredible experience, and it really opened my eyes, and I'm very open to doing more television.
Let that be known wide and far afield. Lauren is open for more telly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it so much. I'm happy to. I would go back again. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, you'd happily, do that. Yeah,
have another trailer.
So that I've got a little part in that, which should be out at some point. And then I did my first feature film.
Yes.
So that's kind of in the bag now. I think in the can even. And we're hoping for a release later this year. But there's one character that we've got their scenes left to shoot.
Right.
So that's just one character. So that'll be one day on that.
Yeah.
But that's a one called Murder Ballads with a really talented duo, Mitch and Neil. So if you follow my Instagram or whatever, I post updates as and when that comes out. But I'm hoping that will be out towards the ends of this year. If not, we'll be looking at an early 2023 release, I think.
Okay, that sounds
but
cool.
that's a Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead inspired.
Oh, I love those.
Kind of British comedy drama. So it's really tongue-in-cheek stuff.
Look out for that, definitely.
That kind of it's that world. So it was really fun to shoot, and it's all about a rock band trying to make it in the rock industry and in the music industry.
I love it already.
Just going to very extreme lengths to get there, and I had a lot of fun. I play a character called Annie, and she's very interesting. So,
Brilliant.
Very different to me, but I think having worked in the music industry, I feel like I've met a few Annies in my time.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't take it as far as she does, but definitely, that was a lot of fun to play. So that was my first feature film that I've done. So that should be coming out as well.
Oh wow! So it's on the up and up. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Well, keep us posted.
Yes, please do.
And,
yes.
When things come out, we'll check them out and take a look at them.
We will retweet them far and wide amongst our 4 billion listeners.
Yes.
It might be a slight exaggeration. Maybe it's 4.
Growing.
You know what? 4 billion doesn't matter. Everyone matters.
Absolutely
And every
follower, every listener is important and counts, and I'm grateful for anyone that will listen to anything that I have to say, because I wouldn't.
The same for us. We can't believe people listen to us. It's incredible. People, take the time to come and chat with us, and it's just awesome.
It's lovely. It's really nice.
It's fantastic. So, Lauren, thank you very much for joining us tonight. This has been a blast talking to you, as often is the case, Paul. I think we could probably talk about
most
ages
definitely.
And ages,
yes,
but you've got kids to sort out, Paul, and it's getting late. But, mine are gone. Yours are older. Yours are still.
We're gonna have to work on this outro thing, aren't we, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, I've got another episode. I've just started watching this series on Netflix called "The Devil in Ohio."
Oh, is it good?
I've seen that one.
It's got
it's good.
Oh my God.
Emily Deschanel from Bones, which I used to really enjoy.
Okay.
So,
yes. Oh my goodness! I think it's only got something like 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's I'm
good.
thoroughly enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I can't say I've not finished it yet, so I feel like maybe that slightly low rating will be from the ending, because when sometimes something's so good and the ending lets down. I've got a hunch that might be the case.
Right.
I don't know though, so don't hold me to that.
Okay.
But I would definitely. I think I'm about 7 episodes in, maybe.
Okay.
6 episodes in, and I'm hooked. So I'm gonna go straight and watch that.
I'm gonna check that.
Let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm really enjoying it. So definitely let me know what you guys think. But I would recommend it.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that one. I'm just sort of in between shows at the moment, so I do need to find something else.
Ooh, give it a go.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
I will. I'll definitely give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Yes. Well, brilliant. Thank you, Lauren, for
very
joining
much.
us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to your stories, and I wish you the very, very best of success in your future career. And please come and join us again at some point. It'd be lovely to have you back on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. It's been a blast.
The blast. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. It's fabulous. And thank you for listening, everybody. We shall see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.
It went well.
You could be the Graham Norton of the Doctor Who world.
Yes. We'll do that. We'll use that as a quote.
Yeah.
Jeff Cockrell.
Use that.
Yes, the Graham Norton of the Doctor Who world.
I'm going to put that on our Twitter bio as
there you go.
as declared by Lauren.